Hi guys. So as you can tell by the title of this video, I am not the world's biggest fan of the month of November, and it's taken me a while to kind of get to the point where I'm okay talking about it. And it's also something that I know a lot of people go through, and so that's why I wanted to put it out there. I came to the realization a long time ago that I'm not alone in this, and it might help somebody to hear my journey through it. But I can trace it back to when I was very, very young. I'm going to say not even quite 2. I had a infant sister who unfortunately died of SIDS, and it was like the day before Thanksgiving, and my parents still hosted the huge family Thanksgiving, and that meant 40 to 50 people coming to our home. We were centrally located. We had the biggest house, and I think being a mom, I couldn't even imagine what my mom was going through. My dad as well, but especially my mom, because you're grieving, you're whatever. I can't even. But from that point on, we hosted even after my folks divorced and things like that until my mom moved, and then it switched to my grandparents' house. There was always this feeling of like sadness and darkness associated with like the week before and then the actual holiday. And after my folks divorced, even it regardless of where I was, and it just seemed like it wasn't a holiday. It wasn't something to celebrate. And I didn't really delve into that too much until I moved away from home at the age of 17. I moved up to the state of Washington and had nobody, I mean, literally nobody to celebrate holidays with, to do, anything. And of course I missed family. Of course and it wasn't the food or anything. It was just like seeing the cousins you hadn't seen in a year, and, finding out all the news and seeing, oh my gosh, this person is pregnant, and, those kinds of things. And I was very, very isolated, and that kind of threw me into a funk. I was up there for a total of 2 years, and I ended up coming home due to other circumstances. But that first Thanksgiving that I was home, once again, my mom was hosting, and I was pregnant with my daughter, Megan. And people, I think, I think they realized or had heard that I was pregnant, but it was kind of the first time that they were like seeing me. And the whole thing to me was so hard and so, I don't know, just not, it didn't sit well with me, the comments that I was hearing and things like that. So it was bad. Then we, several years later, had Travis and ended up moving to Pennsylvania for a job opportunity for Dave. And once again, I was isolated from my family. I was facing a holiday that was typically a huge bummer in my household. That whole month of November had been kind of like tainted in my mind that this is the holiday we're supposed to celebrate family and getting together. And I had Dave, and of course is my family, but I didn't have that huge extended family, and that sort of feeling of like it's not quite right was still there. So I just didn't want to celebrate. And this is when we instituted International Thanksgiving, which isn't what you think it is. It was more about like, oh, this Thanksgiving we're going to do Italian, and we had spaghetti and things like that. It was just, we were calling it Thanksgiving, but it wasn't like your traditional whatever, you know. And it wasn't until we moved to St. Louis and my youngest was in, I believe, second grade, and they were all talking about their family traditions and things like that. And Nathan came home and he's like, everybody's talking about how, you know, their families get together and they cook a turkey and they do this and they do this, and we've never done that. And I realized, wow, I'm not being fair to my kids by, you know, boycotting this holiday, even though it's not about the food. And even at that point, I couldn't have had the food anyway, because I had found out literally the day before Thanksgiving that I was celiac. And I couldn't have the rolls, I couldn't have the stuffing, there was so much I could not have. And so I had like this one last huge meal of traditional Thanksgiving, which we did finally give in and do for Nate, because I wanted him to have the experience, you know. He felt out of the loop because we did International Thanksgiving. What do you mean you can't have pizza on a Thursday night that's supposed to be Thanksgiving? Of course you can. Regardless, I didn't really realize that I was allowing this to affect my life so much. I mean, it's a holiday, it's a whatever, you know. And I didn't really realize that I was also passing this along to my kids, and I wasn't being fair to my husband. But it was about losing my family, about not having them around, about feeling isolated and alone. And this past year especially, I have taken measures to make sure that I'm okay, that the things that I'm doing, the things I'm involved in, the things I'm dedicating my time and energy and thoughts even to, are things that are not only helpful to others, but helpful to me and my growth and things like that. And it became apparent to me as I went into November, and I just already started feeling like that feeling. And I think I walked into a Walgreens on Halloween Eve, and the candy was already 50% off, and they were putting up Christmas stuff. And it just seemed to me that like Christmas was getting earlier and earlier and earlier. And the old me would have been like, good, no Thanksgiving, you know. The me now is like, this is sort of erasing the holiday that we have that is dedicated to stopping, pausing our lives, counting our blessings, being thankful for the things that are around us, which is something I've been trying to do more than just this one day. But I think as I looked more and more into it and kind of like tried to figure out what the heck, you know, why is this like this? My dad died in November, and then to have this just sort of feeling as we draw closer to Thanksgiving, it just feels not like something that should be celebrated. So I've been trying to change that around in my mind and trying to remember that not everybody is upbeat and just feeling great and wonderful, positive energy this time of year. And it's you know, when people ask you like, oh, are you traveling for Thanksgiving? Are you going to see family? And I'm just, no, you know, we don't have close family, and it's nothing we could do in like a 3-day weekend. Dave has to work and things like that. We are meeting up with our boys tonight, and we'll have a dinner and things like that. But what this has taught me as I've looked back at it is that we're always growing, that we're always learning. And I could look back and like beat myself up for not finding more joy in the moments that I was with my huge family. I could be sad because I didn't count blessings when I should have. I could even be resentful because I had to start participating in a traditional Thanksgiving. I think it's about finding a good balance And God loved David because he's put up with me through all of this. Like, I don't want to do Thanksgiving. It's just not good. I don't want to do November. Not an option. They frown upon that in many ways. Work would not like that. But it's a growth process. So if you come across somebody who is not necessarily jumping up and down about a holiday, or is not necessarily upbeat, positive, smiling, joyful about something that other people are, respect that. Respect that. If they don't seem like they're excited about a holiday, don't be like, oh, really? Why? This is supposed to be a great time for family and things. Just respect it and realize that everybody has their own story and everybody has their own feelings, and all of them are valid. Nobody's feelings or judgment is different or better than yours. Is better than yours, or yours isn't better than theirs. It's just, we're all human and we all have our own barriers to overcome, and we all have our own, victories to embrace. So with that said, that's why I don't like November. And just remember to be kind to one another always. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.